Good evening, race fans, and welcome to race number 2 here in the Belly Up Sports Cup Series, the Windy City 200 from Chicagoland Speedway for this Belly Up Sports Cup Series season. My name is David Westergreen tonight. I am joined in the booth, as always, by Zach Evans. David Huckleberry will be producing. Sam Boutwell, Dominic Wright in race control. And Zach, we were just here at Chicagoland to close out the 2025 B season, a wild race that ended with Matthew Weeks wrecking out in front of Blake Reynolds and Jonathan Cutlip, and Blake Reynolds winning the race and retaining his championship crown for the second consecutive season. How do you think these guys are going to tackle that Chicagoland Raceway? Because that race was pretty exciting, if I recall.
I think we're going to see a lot similar racing as we did in that one. Obviously, you saw a lot of the aero blocking. You saw cars moving around to different lanes, trying to find a way around the competition. Chicagoland always lends itself to that multi-groove racing. I think we'll see more of that here tonight. And obviously, we know these guys aren't afraid to mix it up because of all the lead changes and different leaders we saw last week at Daytona.
Yeah, we were the on track action last week. I think was some of the better that we've seen. These guys are very aggressive, and my wager would be that if last season's race at Chicagoland was any indication, this we are in for a fantastic race tonight and a fantastic Belly Up Sports Cup Series season. Because Chicagoland is always puts on a good race, and these guys are racing extremely aggressive. Obviously, the big story last week, race winner Daniel Falkingham, one of the kind of pros making his way over into the Belly Up Sports Cup Series. Last season, we talked about Zach Novak an awful lot. This season, obviously, we're already going to be talking about Daniel Falkingham. Zach, I don't know how much you guys were able to touch on it, but what about the new chase format that these guys are going to be racing into? It's a lot more points racing this season, a lot less winning you're in. So Daniel Falkingham still has a lot of work to do if he wants to go out and win the championship and take the crown from Blake Reynolds.
I mean, not only does he have a lot of work to do, he has to make sure he makes all of these races going forward. Obviously, probably gonna be one of the favorites to do so, but still, as an open competitor, there's no guarantee he won't be sent home during qualifying for one of these first few races of the season.
And that will make things difficult for Daniel Falkingham. But again, that's a guy that I think you and I both trust pretty easily. To make these races, he'll just have to be careful during those qualifying laps to not botch the run. I am looking to see that we are heading towards the grid, and we are ready to get going on this qualifying starting order. So here it is. The grid, the 4D Race for Pole Award winner is Chad Frankenfield. For Little Eagle Racing. Alongside him will be Scott Crump for Lake Norman Motorsports. Jonathan Cutlip and David Tooker will make up row number 3. Cutlip looking to rebound from his runner-up finish here last season. Go for it's Ryan Borges making this race as an open competitor alongside Jared Rexing, who had an adventurous Daytona 500 to say the least, but he's chartered in. He'll be racing tonight. Blake Reynolds, the two-time defending series champion, alongside Ryan Gavel, who was very exciting in last season's race. Daniel Falkingham, the Daytona 500 winner, will start to the outside of Caleb Pecumer here in the top 10 for Lake Norman Motorsports. And starting in the row 6, 2 Pro Edge Racing teammates here, Trey Holmes and Justin Wadsworth, the hometown race for car 6.
Looking at row 7, Ty McIntosh will start from the 13th position. Alongside him, Matthew Weeks, disappointing Daytona 500 for him. Garrison Hogan will start in the 15th position. Logan Helton qualifying 16th. In the 9th row, we will have Gavin Hibbs to the inside, and Ethan Stanley will line up in the 18th position. Rounding out the top 20 to the inside, Corey Abbott, who, was right in the mix last night with the Rev Limit Workshop Development Series. And 20th is Jesse Racimus. Gerald Campbell will start in the 21st position. Gilberto Javier Gamera will line up 22nd. On the 12th row, Leighton Norgard will start 23rd. And our Daytona pole winner, Harrison Talon, starting 24th.
And we'll start from 25th, making the race in as one of the dual winners from last week. He'll be alongside South Shore Racing's Ray Bracey, the Truck Series winner at Daytona. Dusty Dewar and Jaden Racimus make up row 14. And then in row 15, it'll be Nate Stewart and Seth Rawls. Stewart did not make the Daytona 500, and a somewhat poor qualifying effort from another one of those Coke Series competitors. Carlos Acosta will start 31st. Alongside him will be Mark Rabilas in car number 99. We're getting to that point where we might encounter a paint job of someone who's not locked into this race. These two are. Ethan Burrell will start 33rd. Uncharacteristically back of the field qualifying effort for Burrell. Daniel Gore will start 35th, and alongside him will be Gavin Higgins in 36th.
I will try to guide us through this portion of the program. Mike Goodman is in 37th. Paul Mikolajczyk is in 38th. So both of those are fine. Tyler Popp, good to go. Hunter Smith did not qualify. He's one of those open competitors who was not fast enough. He is not starting 40th. Jeff Green, also an open competitor. Josh Adams will roll off, I believe, 39th. As we're green.
Yeah, we are now going green. The grid is long. Johnny Thomas is in the field. So is Justin Vandermarl. That'll round it out, I believe. 3 wide up top already for Daniel Falkingham as Scott Crump was able to fire off first, grab the race lead away from Chad Frankenfield on the start of this one. The pole sitter Frankenfield will have to settle in behind Scott Crump as the number 90 car that won a couple of races last season, including one of those races on that 1.5 mile oval at Atlanta. He'll lead lap number 1 and looking very sporty here tonight already in that 90 car for Lake Norman Motorsports. The Blue Eagle, or the Blue Egg Chevrolet there for Scott Crump. And Zach, I think Scott is looking forward to this season. Already won the dual race last week at Daytona. Had some incidents during the 500, got spun out, but he's off to a really strong start. Jonathan Cutlip way up, rim riding on that outside lane, but he's going to get bypassed by Jared Rexing as Frankenfield goes for the lead. Oh, he spun Chad. Scott Crump. Frankenfield and Crump rocking at the front of the field.
Kidding me.
Oh, and Gilberto's hammered into Chad. Racimus is around. They're bouncing off each other, trying to slow up for this one. Ray Bracey's going to get some damage. Chad Frankenfield just ran right into Scott Crump down the front straightaway and caused a wreck here on lap number 3. We're watching Gavin Hibbs. There we go. There's Chad Frankenfield. And I mean, we'll see.
He's not there. He drives into Scott Crump's left rear.
No.
He's got to say Scott Crump came down on, but he wasn't there. That's entirely on car 15 on starting lap 2. He's gonna get race ending and just about race ending damage there from Gilberto. I mean, those guys had nowhere to go. There's Ray Bracey getting caught up in it. Jaden Racimus gets spun around. I mean, yeah, it's lap 2. I don't understand from a guy who should know a lot better, the guy who has more starts than anybody else in this series. I don't understand the need for that.
And you just have to use your head there on lap 2, man. It looks like Jaden maybe got a little bit antsy under braking and spun it out, but I mean, my goodness, what a start to this race. Ruins the night for Gilberto and for Chad Frankenfield. I don't know how much damage Scott Crump has. I'm assuming it's somewhat significant. But the pole sitter out, P2 out. Several more damaged and heading to pit road. Jared Rex? Of course he is. But Chad could have gone anywhere but through Scott Crump there. I mean, he had the run for sure, but pass a guy. I mean, you can go somewhere. The whole front straightaway is open to you.
You have 37 different lanes on the front stretch at Chicagoland Speedway, and also neat thing about gas pedals is they go 2 directions.
Yep. You do not have to just keep driving as that guy comes down. You can. I mean, he could have hit the apron. Like, just drop down to the apron and get underneath and go side by side in turn 1. Man. Yep.
Race control is wrong. That is my editorial comment.
Look, they're really good, but
He's not there.
They're not perfect every
not
time.
There.
So that's what I was talking last week when we were going through the cautions.
And look, there's got to be a lot of people that go back and say, "Oh, y'all just love giving Chad a hard time." Don't get us wrong, we do. However, to me, that's as easy as it gets. That he's not there. There is zero overlap.
Yeah, generally we, at least in my many years of racing and considering the issues and possibilities of racing at hand, it's the car behind's responsibility to not spin the car in front.
Yeah.
It's generally my thought process on it. I think understandably, Scott Crump is going to run his lane. He is the race leader. The car's behind's responsibility is to ensure that both cars are still going straight at the end of the front straightaway, if you have a run on him. And there's one car in particular that tends to spin out the other cars quite a bit. Yeah. Interesting. Jared Rexing takes over the race lead here of this event for Do Good Motorsports.
Stand by while I try to look up the last time Jared Rexing led a Belly Up Sports Cup Series race. Stay tuned.
Yeah. Jared Rexing is a longtime elite veteran. However, he has not been racing in the Belly Up Sports Cup Series for several seasons. He'll be alongside the 500 winner Daniel Falkingham, David Tooker, and Ryan Borges will be third and fourth. Blake Reynolds, the defending two-time champion, and Justin Wadsworth, they're in row 3 behind Rexing. Pace car is off. Rexing will lead us down into the restart zone and fire off early. We are racing once again here from Chicagoland after an eventful first caution flag. Rexing, Falkingham, Tooker, and Borges. That top 4, as mentioned, Matthew Weeks starting to sneak into the picture as well. He's in 7th place and looking for 6th. But up front it is Rexing, Falkingham, and Tooker leading the way now, single file at the front. The action's going to be side by side between Caleb Pecumer and Logan Helton. That is a battle for 8th.
I'm going to have to put the caveat. Jared Rexing was one of 24 drivers who led laps last week at Daytona. It's almost more disappointing if you didn't lead a lap at Daytona last week. Sorry about your bad luck, David. However, you have to go back to 2022B at Kansas, which was Jared Rexing's last Cup race before the 500. He led 40 laps in that one. It's not a shot at his ability. It's how long he hasn't been running in the Cup Series. When we say it's been a long time since Jared Rexing has led a Cup race outside of a super speedway.
Yeah. Jared Rexing was among the Elite Series regulars when I first joined Elite back in 2019. So he's been doing this for a long time. To see him at the front of the field pacing this group is not odd.
5-time winner.
Yeah. So he's experienced up here. It's not like he's a rookie, right? This is just a returning veteran back to the series. Rexing leads Falkingham. Tooker, Wadsworth has taken over 4th from Ryan Borges. Blake Reynolds back to 6th, but that's exactly what we saw from Blake Reynolds in the last race here at Chicagoland. He just bided his time until the tires came in, and then that 66 car took off. On screen now, a battle between Dusty Dewar and Corey Abbott. This is a battle for 16th and 17th place. Harrison Talon just in front of them. Dusty, a little piece of the wall. Looked like it almost sped up that 32 car up in the outside groove.
Boy, talking about last night with the Rev Limit Workshop Development Series doubleheader in the Music City. Dusty Dewar is probably happy the car just made it past lap 1 without incident, because he was the proverbial bug on the windshield last night.
He sure was. I was in both races. I don't think I saw him once because I think he was out before either race really got going.
I unfortunately saw him way too closely.
Yeah, I think you ran into him. Dusty up top, he and Harrison Talon running that outside line up front. The battle is as we left it, but the first side-by-side battle on track is between Logan Helton and Caleb Pecumer. Helton will fall to the driver of that 59, and Zach, we were talking to Caleb Pecumer last night a little bit. he was running really well in that Revlimit Development ARCA Series race, and he's leading their points. This is a guy that is, I believe, a success story from the ARCA Development Series that we run here in Elite on Tuesday nights. Caleb Pecumer a few years back was not among the more talented drivers, and right now, I mean, it's almost surprising if he doesn't qualify in the top 10 in these Belly Up Sports Cup Series races, and he's winning his way out of that Revlimit Development Workshop series on Tuesdays. He's not going to be racing it for much longer because he's going to win too many races and be ineligible for it. This guy is really improving, and it's cool to see somebody develop under the Elite banner like Caleb Pecumer is.
Oh, for sure. It's definitely, I mean, that's kind of what you want to see out of that series, right? See guys that are able to get that track time and develop the racecraft and gain that speed. I was actually joking with Caleb yesterday coming out of that Revlimit Workshop Series race about, Caleb Pecumer's first Elite showing back in I believe it was the 2024 Winter Derby. He hit everything but the Papa John's trailer in the infield. It was not pretty, including the backside of my number 6 car that night. But the development and the gains we've seen from him. Oh, are we having a moment?
David Tooker was facing the infield coming off of turn 4. You see Caleb Pecumer going to make a pass on Blake Reynolds. Blake checked up for David Tooker, who just about lost it right in front of him there. Please do continue. I do also want to issue an apology to the Infinity Graphic Designs development series on Tuesdays. The Infinity Graphic Designs development series. Revlimit is no longer sponsoring that series. So we've been shouting out the wrong business, but thanks to both of them, because they've both been
they sponsored the race last week
partners for a long time.
Revlimit just sponsored the race last week, and we probably didn't mention him enough, so we gave him some extra mentions.
Right, there you go. But no, I'm with you. Caleb Pecumer is a long way from that original Snowball Derby. I mean, I think the next step for Caleb is getting into the top 5 consistently in this Belly Up Sports Cup Series and winning races here, because he really isn't that far away, to my eye, from really challenging some of these guys up front. Rexing still leads. Daniel Falkingham, Justin Wadsworth has worked his way into 3rd, and he is hunting down Falkingham and Rexing for the race lead. Blake Reynolds is up to 4th. The run is starting to get to that point where this 66 car really comes alive. We'll look to see if Blake can't overtake some of these guys for the race lead. David Tooker is 5th, Pecumer 6th. As mentioned, Ethan Stanley is up to 7th and challenging Pecumer for 6th right now. It's not much of a challenge. Ethan Stanley up into 7th. We will note as well, we're going to award stage points at lap 45. If you are a new viewer to the Belly Up Sports Cup Series, we do not throw a caution flag for that stage break. It is just points at that lap, and we will keep on racing. Stanley around Tooker, Justin Wadsworth to the outside of Falkingham. Couple of different battles here inside the top 5 as Chicagoland continues to provide multiple grooves for these guys to race. Falkingham tries to get down to the inside of Wadsworth, but the 2025 4B champion of this series will drive around Daniel Falkingham on the outside, and there's the other 2025 set of championships as Blake Reynolds jumps to the outside of Daniel Falkingham as well.
So there you've got on screen our last 3 Cup Series champions and our most recent Daytona 500 winner.
Yep, something those two guys have not been able to figure out yet is winning that race last week, and boy, that thing was a thriller. If you missed it, please do hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any of those future races, and then jump back over to the race replay of that one last week. It was a fantastic race. Here comes Justin Wadsworth. To the inside of Jared Rexing for the race lead goes the 2024 B Series champion. He's not going to clear Rexing. Rexing able to hold firm on that outside lane. Wadsworth down to the apron. Zach, it's amazing. Justin Wadsworth got inside of Jared Rexing, and they didn't wreck each other down the front straightaway.
Yeah, that's neat.
some would call it expected. Wadsworth unable to make that pass, slides in line behind Reynolds, and the caution flag waves.
This is your fault. I don't even know who the wreck is, but I'm going to blame you for that.
I'll take responsibility for that one.
It's Ryan Gable.
No.
About the same spot we saw him wreck here battling for the lead last season.
It was not his fault, however.
Oh, it wasn't his fault?
Not even a little bit.
Uh-oh. Oh, no. Oh, no.
Boy, it's been a rough week for Justin Vandermarl in that 54 car.
He just get loose. He gets loose before the contact, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Unfortunately,
yeah, I was
for a Leighton Norgard as well. Ryan might have gotten the worst of it, though.
Yeah, I think he did. I was in the spotters booth for the finish of last week's Daytona 500, and I mentioned it. But if you missed it, Justin Vandermarl was leading down the back straightaway. And coming off turn 4, he was on the front row in line to get it, and they wrecked across his nose, and he wound up finishing somewhere he was not running for the end run of that race. And this week he'll be receiving, I believe, tally number 2 of the race. Here comes the field down pit road, led by Jared Rexing. And as we hit pit stops here, why don't we go ahead and get in our commercial break, and we will be back for preferably the remainder of these 134 laps tonight. Stay tuned.
Tickets are on sale now for the 10th Bommarito Automotive Group 500 at Worldwide Technology Raceway. Sunday, June 7th features 3 huge races. The USAC Classic, Firestone Indy Next, and the only Sunday night prime time NTT IndyCar Series race. Enjoy a weekend of cars, concerts, camping, food, and fun. The stars of the Indy 500 are coming to St. Louis. Get your tickets now and save big at www.raceway.com.
Blue Egg Marketing. Rev up your business with Blue Egg, your marketing pit crew. Turbocharge your lead generation with experienced drivers that can navigate the competitive track to connecting with your customers. With Blue Egg, you're always in the pole position, leading your brand towards victory lane. So don't spin your wheels, accelerate success with Blue Egg, fueling small businesses to win big.
Looking for a heck of a deal? You'll find it at Tom Bolin Ford in Hannibal. Right now, over $4,000 off 2025 Escapes, $2,500 off 2025 Broncos, and over $5,000 off select new 2025 F-150s. And the best part, every one of them comes with a Bolin lifetime powertrain warranty at no extra cost. Big savings, long-term peace of mind, all in one place. Tom Bolin Ford Hannibal. Heck of a deal, ain't it?
Welcome back to the Windy City 200 for the Belly Up Sports Cup Series. We are double file for the green flag. The driver you're noticing is not there is Jared Rexing. He spun out on pit exit, and he does receive an end-of-line penalty for that loop. Scott Crump stayed out. He will be the race leader after pitting to fix that crash damage earlier. Blake Reynolds will be the first car on 4 tires. Everybody else came down and got 4, and Justin Vandermarl did get the tally as expected for that last caution. Pace car is off. Crump into the restart zone on the loud pedal. Green flag is waving. Crump with an excellent start, but the older tires on this 90 car may hinder his ability to hold these cars off. We'll see how this gambit works. For Scott Crump, right now, not working particularly well. Here comes Reynolds to the inside with help from Falkingham. Through goes Reynolds. Okay, go ahead.
The one thing Crump will have to be particularly careful of, whether we agree or disagree with the call, he does have the tally. So second tally could result in him getting parked for the night. It also comes with that points penalty, which, as we already talked about, those not so much this wrinkle of it, but with the new championship format, those points penalties are going to carry a lot more weight this season than they have in the past for tally accumulation.
And it changing the format into yellow flag is back out before I can even get into my thoughts on the chase and racing for points. Some of these guys are still
it's
loads.
Jared Rexing.
Oh, and this is that's why you don't go to the back, right? If you're up in the lead, can't make the kind of mistake like that. And it might be your own mistake. It might be someone else's, like Paul getting the piece of the wall and sliding down into Jared Rexing and looping the 71 car there.
Now, does
Looks
he
like
avoid
it's-
hitting? Yeah, he got away with it for the most part, but still definitely a unfortunate break there for Jared Rexing.
Yeah, Paul gets a piece of the wall. Paul's going to get the worst damage out of this anyway. In that 77, looks like the right front might even be broken on this car.
If it's not, definitely the splitter is folded up there on the right side. So
I'll tell you, Zach, if you pound the right side of the car into the wall and the right front tire breaks, you can't drive it. I know from experience.
It's not healthy. It's not healthy for the car for sure.
So disappointing for Rexing. At this point, if you're Jared Rexing, you probably just stay out, right? You do have the cooked tires. You have the cooked tires, but like you can't go just giving away another set. I mean, I'm assuming we have 5 sets in the pits. That's our typical number. Rules. Event rules.
Shout out to Race
Tire
Control
limit 6.
correctly spelling Paul Mikolajczyk's name here on the issuance of the tally.
I thought it was funny that they didn't put Paul in there. They didn't go for the easy part.
Well, you can see the right front, how
Yeah.
much is towed out there from this camera angle. That's not good.
The good news for Paul is that it's still connected. He might actually be able to return to the event.
Yeah.
So if it disconnects, that means it's too much damage. We're done. Pops up on the screen. With this new season, Zach, a lot of new faces in this
A lot of new
Elite
faces.
Sports Cup series. Pretty cool. This top 10 just looks a little different. You got Daniel Falkingham sitting here in second, already won a race in that 39 car. But I mean, look further down this order. Josh Chin is running 8th. And he's certainly making his move. He won a couple of races in the Batflip Entertainment 2003 series on Tuesdays last season. He's working his way into the Cup Series, looking for a charter. Ryan Borges here running 9th, qualified 5th, doing a great job. Here's Tyler Popp, a long time Grand National Series regular here in the Belia, here in the Elite Racing League, and making his kind of Cup debut this season. How about Logan Helton for Shift Esports, new driver, rookie driver? There's Nate Stewart, another one of them pros, moving his way forward, 19th. The Carnage hasn't caught a piece of Nate Stewart just yet, but a lot of our new guys here in the top 20, and a lot of our veterans too. It's going to be cool to see the kind of that battle of new versus old. You also have, I think, Blake Reynolds. Last I knew, Blake Reynolds is not running the full season. That may yet change, but to my knowledge, Blake Reynolds is part-time this year, and if that does remain the case, I mean, we will have a new champion by season's end. Reynolds is the race leader right now. He will be right in front of his teammate Ethan Stanley on the outside lane. Daniel Falkingham is in front of 2 Pro Edge Toyotas, Justin Wadsworth and Matthew Weeks there on the bottom. David Tooker in 6th. That's Caleb Pecumer, Josh Chin, Ryan Borges, and Gavin Hibbs that round out the top 10. Looked like Mikolajczyk is back on the racetrack. The damage may not be too severe for the 77. Pace car is off. Blake Reynolds on the loud pedal. We are racing once again here from Chicagoland. Reynolds after that second caution. 14 laps to go in the stage. He'll look to clear Daniel Falkingham and will into turn number 1, just barely across the nose of the 39. That dirty air washed across Falkingham, caused him to kind of check up, and it washed Justin Wadsworth up the racetrack as well. Wadsworth in front of Stanley, got a big push down the back straightaway, but Falkingham got a better run. Falkingham going to the race lead.
Is Falkingham going to have to run off the corner? Is Reynolds going to be able to skirt back around as they fight behind him?
Matthew Weeks and Justin Wadsworth just about made contact there. Up front, the battle is side by side between Falkingham and Reynolds. Falkingham up right on the quarter panel. Blake Reynolds, a little bit of a side draft, pushing that air onto the spoiler of that 66 car. Ethan Stanley running the outside lane, rim riding in the 91, trying to get around these two for the race lead. He's going to have a big run. Here comes Ethan Stanley. Boy, if there's a guy that could benefit from the swap over to the chase, Reynolds loose in front of Stanley and Weeks. Both Weeks and Stanley able to check up and avoid Reynolds. Falkingham clears away with the race lead. Wadsworth to second. Stanley will get around Reynolds to third. Here comes Josh Chin for fourth. Oh, Chin blinked out. Chin's still blinking out. That car is encountering some issues. Or just sideways. They're 3 wide down the front straightaway. Ooh. Weeks
Let's
around.
name an Albaboy. Yep, to your point, Matthew Weeks there. He's had a couple of moments here where he could have really forced the issue and probably caused a problem. Instead, he's shown discretion is the better part of valor, and now he's up to fourth.
Yeah, it's a racecraft type of move there. You have to know when to back out of it, know when to. It's not your time, right? You just have to be careful. It's better to lose a spot or two now than to wreck and not have a chance to make up any time at all, as Matthew Weeks shows there. Becumer able to kind of navigate running that outer top lane. He and David Tooker are kind of the victims right now. They are falling back a little bit into the depths of this top 10. Here comes Nate Stewart way up on the outside. He restarted 19th. He's up to 11th and challenging into the top 10 here. And he's going 3 wide with Becumer and Tooker. And just behind them, it was Ty McIntosh 3 wide up top. Nate Stewart's going to get both of them.
Huge run from Nate Stewart there. And to your point behind that, with Ty McIntosh, he's back there fighting with Tyler Popp and Gavin Higgins. Well, Popp has gotten through. Higgins is there in the 20 car. Those are a couple of guys who are on the move early on in this one.
Really rising up from the back of the field, those two. Nate Stewart is as well. He's into the top 10 after starting 29th. You can see there our biggest movers board. Part of our wonderful graphics package developed by Mr. Dave Huckleberry. Tyler Popp, the biggest mover so far, and he's going to continue moving forward. I believe he was the biggest mover last week as well. And that Daytona 500 came from way in the back of the field to finish inside the top 5.
Jim may have gotten a piece of the wall there out of 4.
He's been living right on the edge of getting a piece of that wall. I think that's just where that 93 car is happy. He's going to get a big run of Matthew Weeks, cross him over to the inside. Good shot of it down the back straightaway as Chin works to the bottom in the 93. Weeks up top in the 11. But knowing Matthew Weeks, Zach, I think he's not super interested in racing really hard for the track position right now. He's willing to let this race come to him a little bit more.
Oh, for sure. And he doesn't have the 400 miles like the last time we were here, but he's got plenty of time to figure out exactly what he wants out of that 11 car, and he'll have a little more time to strategize under this caution. That is Frank Fody.
Oh, Frank. Boy, Frank's had a tough start to the season across our 3 series. Why is he on the apron? Oh, no.
Yeah, oh, it looks like he got loose on corner exit, mayhaps.
Yep. And that transition just cuts him back to the outside. Marker.
A heck of a job to get locked down there.
Yep. And in this, the Elite Racing League, a self-spin that doesn't result in further contact is often deemed not a tally that accrues those points penalties. So Frank Fody should be all right there. Did a good job of controlling the car once it got out from under him. 5 laps left in the stage, Zach. Some of these guys are going to stay out, but I'm more interested to see who in the midfield comes down pit road here, tries to take advantage of these cars up front running for those stage points. and sets themselves up for the long haul, because you and I both know that at any point this race could go the rest of the way under green. And if you pit right now, I mean, you'll be able to go to the end on one more stop, but you'll also be able to have this first run with significantly fresher tires.
Yeah. Well,
Reynolds, he's not running for points, so Blake Reynolds can do this. He can drop down. Ryan Borges is heading down pit road. Ty McIntosh is going down pit road. I like the call, especially if you're farther in the back of the field. Come get tires right now.
And see, I think if you're battling for the win, that's the call. But I do think this is indicative of what we might see, a shift in mentality with this new format, with the points mattering more this season without winning you're in. For a lot of these guys, especially somebody like Nate Stewart, who wasn't even part of Daytona, he needs the points badly. So, of course, he's going to stay out here. I'm going to assume that says Frank Fody. Yes.
It does, yes. Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. It's always going to be a question of whether you are racing for points, racing for the win, or even, I think in Blake Reynolds' case, it's a little bit of both here. You're making a play for the win to get off cycle from the rest of the cars around you that you're racing with. If you're further in the back of the field, there's very little risk here. You come down, you get your 4 fresh tires here, and you go to try and, pick up your spots and win this race. Get better track position, get yourself in position to fight for the win rather than this stage. So as we set the scene here for the stage dash, it'll be 2 laps till we pay out stage points. Once we get back to the restart here, Daniel Falkingham, the winner from the Daytona 500 last week, he will be restarting as the leader. Justin Wadsworth starting second, Ethan Stanley behind him in third. Josh Chin will restart fourth. Matthew Weeks 5th, Gavin Hibbs 6th, Garrison Hogan is up to 7th, Nate Stewart 8th, David Tooker 9th, Caleb Pecumer will start in 10th here. Looking back for Blake Reynolds, he will restart. Ooh, man, he will restart 37th. There might have been a longer pit stop on that 66 car. So Reynolds is going to have to claw his. He's going to have to claw his way back through the field. Jonathan Cutlip received damage in that earlier wreck. He's back there as well, man. The 2 guys that finished 1-2 in our race last season, not at the front in this one here.
Yeah, 47-second stop for Blake Reynolds.
Might have gone to the bathroom. That's the other possibility there for Blake. Base car is off. Daniel Falkingham and Justin Wadsworth lead us into the zone. Falkingham on the loud pedal. A really good restart for this 39. He will fire out and get away from Wadsworth. He'll be side by side with Ethan Stanley heading towards turn 1. Matthew Weeks jumps to the outside lane just behind those 2. They're side by side behind Falkingham. That's all he's going to need to see right now.
Ooh. Really tight there, further back. Josh Chin, I mean, he's a guy we've seen more often in the Elite IndyCar series, but he has not been afraid to get up close and personal with the wall or his fellow competitors like you normally see from those open wheel guys switching over to the fender side of life.
Stanley pushes up the hill in turn 2. That's going to open the door for Matthew Weeks up top. Josh Chin right there running that outside lane. He's going to continue to rip the fence. Justin Wadsworth cleared a second. They're going to need a big run to overtake Daniel Falkingham, though. 39 car way out in front. 0.4 of a second before this battle for second on back. Ethan Stanley hemorrhaging positions. Here comes Wadsworth. He gained a 10.5 on the back straightaway. It's not going to be enough. The battle will be for 4th between Stanley and Hogan. Give it to Garrison Hogan coming down to the start-finish line. And all the way back, Caleb Pecumer will be the final driver to pick up a point here. And those are valuable. This is a chase format now, so every point is going to matter all the way until we hit that playoff cutoff line. Then we'll re-rack them and go for a championship. But, I mean, you want to be as high up in that group as you can. Oh, Dusty Dewar spinning on the back straightaway. I think it was Logan Helton that got a piece of Dewar. Oh, he's going to get a piece of Michael Goodman, Jesse Racine, Miss Harrison Talon involved.
Oh, boy.
Thought that was just going to be a spin, but Dewar came way back up the track.
Looks like Logan Helton may have tagged him into left rear. It's tough. It's hard. You really don't notice it on the broadcast as much as there you see Dewar spins up the track and collects those other drivers you mentioned, Mike Goodman, Harrison Talon, Jesse Racimus.
I hope Jesse's all right. Got stuffed in the fence again after I heard he broke his wrist yesterday.
Monday, yes.
Somebody got a piece of him in practice and it snapped the wheel out of his hand and hurt his wrist. That probably snapped his wrist again. I hope he's all right.
He probably said some words we wouldn't be able to repeat on the broadcast for sure. And it looks like the car is in no good shape as well, judging by the way it rolled down the banking. Gosh.
Wow.
But yeah, I think to the point of, as far as the cause of the incident there, oh yeah, it broke the left front on and you see the engine smoke. So Jesse Racimus almost certainly done for the night, even if his wrist is A-okay. But to the point, there's just the slightest bit of arc or curve to this backstretch here at Chicagoland, right? So I feel like Logan probably just misjudged ever so slightly his placement in relation to Dustin Dewar there going down the backstretch. Unfortunately, I mean, you could tell by the seam, he did cross over it. He is the one that crept up into Dustin Dewar, but I'm sure he had no idea that he was that close. But ultimately, it's, well, I better not say it will be on him. Race control might prove me wrong again, but I feel like that one's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, I'm with you. Logan Helton even went in the chat and said it was his bad and apologized to Dusty Dewar and the other drivers involved, and that's good. Take accountability when you're in the wrong. I think you and I certainly would have maybe put that on him, but it also feels like a racing type of deal.
Oh, for sure.
Racing hard down the back straightaway, slight misjudgment. I mean, we don't want to say, oh, how dare he wreck someone in an auto race like that. That's going to happen.
It's not like he made a huge move to the right and was clearly just like trying to even side draft Dusty and it went wrong or anything like that. He thought he was leaving the room and he did.
Yeah, and that stuff break. Logan Helton, I think, will be able to continue. I don't think that car was terribly damaged in this event. Of the cars that did come down pit road, Ethan Stanley, Josh Chin came to get tires. So you'll notice they're not near the front anymore, and there is race control affirming what we suspected the case was. But they'll be restarting. Ethan Stanley's restarting 30th, Chin 31st. Tyler Pop's back there with them. Gavin Higgins is with them as well. So, looking forward, Blake Reynolds is 23rd after pitting and spending a long time last caution, and then you've got Daniel Gore and Ty McIntosh probably leading the brigade. Maybe it's Scott Crump that's leading the brigade on fresher tires than the front runners right now. He's 13th, McIntosh is 18th, Gore 17th. We'll see if those fresh tires mean anything, Zach. I really don't know how much they mean in that dirty air in the midfield. Jesse Racimus, Dusty Dewar retire from the race after that accident. Pace car is off. Falkingham waits till way late in the restart zone. Really stacked up the field on that restart. Matthew Weeks bump drafts Falkingham clear to that lead. Weeks will run up to second. It's going to lose Wadsworth several spots. Here comes Gavin Hibbs up to third, the runner-up from last week's Daytona 500. Nate Stewart up into the top five. Here comes Caleb Pecumer as well. And how about Ethan Burrell up into the top 10 for the first time all day? Poor qualifying effort for Burrell, but he's been able to work his way forward. They're 3 wide for second once again. Hibbs to the inside of Wadsworth and Weeks. Big snarling pack of cars well behind Falkingham, who clears away with the race lead once again. Stewart with a good run through the center of the corner. He'll bypass Hibbs and look for third on the outside of Wadsworth. Give third to Nate Stewart. Strong run on the outside lane for the 67 car. Wadsworth up in front of Gavin Hibbs. Hibbs will challenge back to the inside. Hogan and Pecumer side by side behind them. Then it's David Tooker, Ethan Burrell, and Jaden Racemius rounding out the top 10. Racemius under fire now from Scott Crump.
Wadsworth, I don't know if he got loose or what, but he lost a lot of ground there.
The car getting a little evil on Justin Wadsworth. He's falling well back into the field here, way back, side by side with Tooker for 8th. Pecumer to the outside of Hibbs. This is a battle for 4th. Caleb Pecumer working his way forward still. If you remember, in that Chicagoland race, Pecumer qualified very well. Was running in the top 5 and spun coming off turn 2. Boy, it would be cool to see Caleb Pecumer be able to put one together and, get all the way to the completion of this race without, I think, getting the car a little squirrely on him. That's been kind of his bugaboo in this next-gen car, where when the tires wear, it starts to get real light on corner exit, and Caleb Pecumer struggled with that a little bit. But I think if he can get this thing hammered down, he's going to be a contender for the win today.
I think that's been the balancing act for everybody here at Chicagoland, both in our season finale last year, and tonight during practice. The speed is on the high side for the most part, but obviously that increases those tire temps, as you talk about, gets the car a little bit light in the pants, a little bit of a greasy feeling on the tires, and all the things that go along with that. It just seems to really lead to some of those snap loose conditions we see on corner exit.
We also have seen some of these guys, if they heat the tires a little bit, we saw it with Wadsworth, you fall back a little. Gavin Hibbs, the one right now that's dealing with that. He's fallen back into the clutches of Justin Wadsworth there. Caleb Pecumer, the car moving forward. He's underneath Matthew Weeks for 3rd. He's not going to get any love from these Toyotas running the outside lane. One thing that I see from Caleb Pecumer, and obviously Tyler Fody not racing this race, but yellow flag's out. Well, I'll make my point one day.
Nah. That is
Corey Abbott going through the grass.
So was he the wreck, or was he avoiding the wreck?
He's avoiding it. Oh, man.
He does.
Seth Rawls was the car wrecking, as was Carlos Acosta, it looks like. I can't tell who else is that car that's involved. Oh, it might have been Bojo. Oh, no, it's Jonathan Cutlip. Bojo does get a piece of this. Does Blake Reynolds? Yes, but the big piece is Jonathan Cutlip.
And Acosta gets into the wall behind it, and is that Pop? No, that's Gamero that tags Rexing.
Logan Helton is also sideways in this. Wow. The whole front of the field came down pit road here as we take another look from Logan Helton's overhead. There's going to be a massive running order shakeup here. Leighton Orgard also got on the binders and got up into the wall. Ooh, boy, this is going to really shake things up. It looks like the worst of the wreck there is going to be Jonathan Cutlip. He's going to get the most damage, I think, out of that whole group.
Now, one thing to look at as well as we look at, obviously, some guys stayed out here. I think we're running into a situation where we're having more cautions than sets of tires, right? So you're not going to be able to come down every time and bolt on a new pair of shoes. Ryan Borges pitted at lap 40, which was, will be about 20 laps ago when we go green. But Josh Adams, who will join him on the front row for this restart, last pitted on lap 23. There you see the handy-dandy stint length chart. So those are going to be some real old tires on the 22 car when we fire off here.
They weren't really hindering him or anything. I think in the pack, he was running about 13th or 14th. He was right there with Borges and Daniel Gore and those guys. So, you look at that, with those stints, 10, 17 laps. But again, that's 2-3 cautions as well. Maybe for Adams, obviously, it's a few more laps, right? It's 2 more cautions, but probably 10 more green flag laps at this point. You would expect Josh Adams' tires to be the worst of anybody up here, but he may be okay. Leader off of pit road with 4 fresh tires right now is Matthew Weeks. He will restart 15th. And boy, Zach, it makes me nervous when you get back in the field. That's when stuff can happen.
Yep.
Right? You want to be up front. You want to have that clean air.
Especially with the shape this race has taken, where anybody could end up getting loose right in front of you.
Yep, we've seen that a number of times. So Ryan Borges, Josh Adams, the front row. South Shore Racing teammates Daniel Gore and Ty McIntosh in row 2. The car with the freshest tires is Ethan Stanley there in row 3. Alongside him will be Johnny Thomas. It's Ray Bracey and Gavin Higgins in row 4. Tyler Popp and Corey Abbott, who made an excursion to get around the last wreck there in row 5. Borges into the restart zone, gets a great jump on the field. Ryan Borges clear with the lead. It'll be Daniel Gore jumping clear of Josh Adams here going into turn 1. Yeah, Adams is not going to be able to hang on to the quarter panel of the 69. Danny G clear to second. It's his teammate Ty trying to get to the outside of Adams, but he won't be able to get that done. It's Ethan Stanley back to the inside of McIntosh for the 4th spot. Adams driving into the corner pretty deep. The 22 car looks okay. Doesn't look like it's a car that's on older tires. See what Danny G can do with Ryan Borges. Borges rockets to the bottom. Gore using that outside / kind of middle lane to get a run on the back straightaway. It's Ethan Stanley, the first car out of line. He jumps to the inside of Adams. You look through the big pack there. It's Falkingham rocketing through the field fastest of anyone. He's on the bottom looking 3 wide. Oh, they're 3 and 4 wide here. This is a rough one. Falkingham is the first car in line. Nate Stewart and Garrison Hogan are side by side on the bottom behind Ryan Gable. Corey Abbott's up top. Oh my goodness. Pop almost into the wall. Oh, that could have been a big one. Ooh, Helton in the middle. Matthew Weeks at the bottom. Pecumer way up top. That's the thing, right? Wadsworth to the inside.
4 wide?
Yep, they are 4 wide down the front straightaway. Wadsworth don't have a whole lot of room. They're still 4 into 1. They hung on to it. They're still 4 wide. Wadsworth Weeks, little contact. Oh, they're together, the teammates. Oh, they're able to save it.
Oh, my goodness. Talk about heart in your throat moment there. And Weeks is going to pay for it.
Yeah, Weeks is the car who kind of backed out of it. Daniel Falkingham is up to the 7th position now, right behind Johnny Thomas. Snarling pack is well behind him and involves Josh Chin, Nate Stewart, Garrison Hogan, all those guys that were running at the front of the field before that caution flag. Right now, Ryan Borges, Daniel Gore out in front, Josh Adams 3rd, Stanley 4th, McIntosh 5th. Then Johnny Thomas, and then there's the first car on 4 fresh tires. That's Daniel Falkingham in the pink car. Falkingham's nearest competition is Nate Stewart, the pink car. running in behind Ray Bracey, who's in the Jeff Gordon style throwback. Stanley clears Adams. That is a battle for third, was a battle for third. Stanley moving forward.
To your point, those tires have held on pretty well for Adams. I mean, it took a lot of work for Ethan Stanley to finally get around him for third.
And he's really not hemorrhaging a whole lot of time. You see, Ty McIntosh has fresher tires, and he's going backwards right now a lot quicker as Falkingham tries to work his way by. McIntosh, Johnny Thomas using that outside lane to try to hold on. But, I mean, it seems like track position just much more important, right? That clean air much more important than the actual amount of freshness on the rubber. Adams able to hold pretty good serve there in fourth. Falkingham up to fifth. First car on those tires. Second car on the tires is to the inside of Ray Bracey. That is Nate Stewart. Stewart will clear past Bracey and move into the eighth spot himself. Then it'll be Garrison Hogan next on the list to try to bypass these guys who've stayed out. Ben Higgins, almost made contact entering turn one. Poppin' Higgins, two cars that have stayed out on the racetrack on older rubber. Ryan Gable, Josh Chin, Gavin Hibbs, Justin Wadsworth, and Caleb Becumer all the way back to 17th there. Guys that have been running in the top 10 but just are not finding their way forward right now. The only guys who are Ethan Stanley and Daniel Falkingham. Stanley's up to second, Falkingham up to fourth. I think it's just a matter of time before one of those guys is in the race lead. There's the battle for sixth. Nate Stewart working underneath Johnny Thomas. Johnny is another guy he's running more of a one-off schedule this season, not planning on running the full circuit, but he's out here, he's trying to race hard. He's giving Nate Stewart all he can handle.
I know Johnny, he would probably say last season wasn't a ton of fun for him, right? And, you know, maybe scaling back a little bit will help him find that fun factor again.
Well, I think it's already worked wonders as Stewart does find his way in front of Johnny Thomas, but Johnny had won the ARCA Series race at Atlanta on Tuesdays. The Infinity Design ARCA Series. Johnny was able to take home the win. And here he goes, back to the outside of Nate Stewart. He got it done. He got right around him. Look at Johnny go. Trey Holmes just picked up a severe damage penalty. We didn't catch what incident that might have been a part of. Oh, Caleb Becumer sideways. Oh, Ethan Burrell's wrecking. They're going to be under caution here momentarily. Big wreck on the back. There's Frank Fody into Gerald Campbell. Oh, the caution probably needed to go out a little bit quicker. I don't think there's anything really race control could have done. There were cars sideways all over the track. It was just a matter of time.
What happened here?
So it looks like Trey might have been the Jaden Racimus incident with Jaden Racimus. Where was Gavin Hibbs going?
Okay.
I'm confused. There we go. Gavin Hibbs went in the grass.
I don't think this is.
Okay, it might have been even a
being loose. That's not.
So it started with Becumer, but Ethan Burrell also got sideways.
Pecumer gets sideways after Burrell does. That's a separate...
Wow.
So what happens with Burrell?
Burrell got tagged in the center of the corner by... I couldn't tell who was behind him there. It's a Leighton, maybe? Gerald comes down the track and gets pounded by Frank Fody there.
Oh, Ryan Gable was sideways. So he had contact with Ty McIntosh, who was all the way against the fence. He couldn't go any higher. He was higher than he needed. He didn't want to be there. So what?
My goodness.
There's a lot going on here for sure. So it looks like Gable kind of shoots the gap here and just kind of misjudges it a little bit. McIntosh ends up in the fence. Gable slides. Burrell checks up. I don't know if Crump got a piece of him or not. Either way, Burrell gets loose. And that's what sets off this incident. And there's where Gerald Campbell's got to come down to track and collect Frank Fody.
Right, yeah.
Left foot red, right hand blue.
At that point, the caution hadn't even come out yet. So
Yeah, right about here was when it came out. Yeah.
The incident for Trey Holmes and was him and Jaden Racines getting together, lap 68, turn 3. Oh, man.
Frank would probably not have been expecting.
Green flag's still out, and then all of a sudden, here comes a car spinning down the track into you.
It looked, it almost looked like everybody gathered it up, and then they had not.
No, they had not.
They had not.
So Gable does get the tally for us inciting that incident. Jaden Racines is off track with a broken left front after contact with Trey Holmes, lap 68. And we had some cars stay on the racetrack. That would be Jared Rexing, Josh Chin, and Leighton Norgard. Ryan Borges, the first car off pit road on 4 tires. So he, Daniel Gore, Ray Bracey, Johnny Thomas, they'll make out like bandits, being ahead of that incident and getting a chance to take that track position over. Rexing with a good jump here on the restart, lap 76 coming to 77 of 134. We're right around that halfway mark, but they're 4 wide going into turn 1 here. Stanley to the inside. He clears past Falkingham. Norgard, the car up top, he was the one kind of falling down the field. We Rexing, Chin, Stanley, Falkingham, and then Ryan Borges in the 30, the leader through that entire run before the caution flag came out. Danny G moves into 6th. It'll be Norgard back to 7th. Stewart and Hogan side by side for 8th, and Bracey and Thomas side by side for 10th. Falkingham drives past Stanley and past Josh Chin. He moves up into 2nd. Here comes Daniel Falkingham for the lead. Daniel Falkingham trying to get the lead on from Rexing. He won't get it done. Rexing able to hold strong on the outside. Stanley up to 3rd. He'll be hunting down this duo, fighting for the lead here momentarily. Falkingham with another deep send into turn 1. Can he slide in front of Rexing? Yes. Falkingham to the race lead once again. Ethan Stanley to the inside of Rexing to try and take it over, but Daniel Falkingham already clear by several car lengths. Falkingham moving towards that clean air, towards the race lead. Here comes Stanley for 2nd. Daniel Gore underneath Chin for 5th. Give 2nd to Stanley. The old tires on Rexing's car not able to keep up with the fresh ones on Stanley's. So Ethan Stanley into 2nd. Rexing 3rd. Borges 4th. Gore into 5th. A snarling pack behind. Leighton Norgard's kind of holding Ray Bracey up back there. They're 3 and 4 wide again down the front straightaway. Front five, single file side by side for sixth. Nate Stewart going around Josh Chin. Moves Stewart into that sixth spot. Hogan working around Chin for seventh. Johnny Thomas looking on. Up front, it is Falkingham versus Stanley. Battling for the race lead. You've got Rexing battling Borges for third. Chin might have got a piece of the wall. They almost make contact back there between Gable and Higgins. They hang on to it. Gable can't afford another tally. He just got one. Chin's car really starting to wear down up in the outside groove. 3 wide top. Gable loose off corner exit. They find a way to keep it straight down the back straightaway. Gable loses several positions. Gavin Higgins, the car that makes up ground. He moves into 9th. Chin back to 10th, and that car continues the backslide. Stanley is catching Falkingham up front. Rexing holding off Borges and Gore behind. This is the big snarling battle for around 10th spot where Josh Chin lies in that purple car. Josh Adams, Tyler Pop side by side behind him. Ryan Gable, Scott Crump, Ray Bracey, Logan Helton, Gavin Hibbs, all fighting it out as Daniel Gore loses 5th to Nate Stewart. Garrison Hogan trying to hunt down Gore for that 6th spot. Borges will get around Jared Rexing for 3rd. Oh, contact between Hogan and Gore. Daniel Gore able to get around Garrison Hogan, still trying to hold off that number 55. Hogan's been strong all race inside this top 5. Gore trying to hold him back. Last season's Rookie of the Year in the 69. Johnny Thomas looking on in 8th. Higgins and Pop side by side for 9th behind. Battles for 4th, 6th, 8th. Oh, one in the wall hard. Josh Adams hits the wall. I don't know if that was the only car that hit the wall there. I think it was. Oh, Danny G got a big piece of the wall too. Oh, man. Josh Adams and Danny G both knocked the wall down in turn 3. Both fall outside the top 10. Man.
So, you want the good news or the bad news, David?
I'll take the bad news.
The bad news is I get to be a bad influence to more people later this year.
Could mean a lot of things.
The good news is I'm going to be an uncle.
Hey.
No,
not that one.
no, that requires a couple of different factors that are not in play. But no, uncle though. That's
No, that's good.
That was the surprise phone call I just received in the mid-broadcast, but that's okay. So, shout out to my baby sister.
That's awesome. Uncle Zach.
Uncle Zach. Coming
Little
in
scary.
September of 2020.
December.
They said September. Apparently, they didn't know, but we're about a month in. So
There we go. Awesome.
yeah. On that note, I'll try to actually pay attention to the race now, but no promises.
Daniel Falkingham leads. Ethan Stanley, Ryan Borges, Nate Stewart, and Garrison Hogan. Danny G just slapped the wall from 6th spot, fell back. Josh Adams lost a bunch of spots in the kerfuffle as well. Other than that, it's been good racing here. The guys that stayed out, Josh Chin, he's back in 19th. That's not working out very well for him. Jared Rexing's in 6th, and Ryan Borges is 3rd. So working out pretty good for those guys. pop working around Jared Rexing now for the 6th spot. It's all behind Daniel Falkingham, who leads over Stanley. That lead is down to 1/10 of a second. Stanley really starting to apply some pressure to Daniel Falkingham. Maybe now, Zach, I'll get to make my point I was going to try to make earlier when the caution came out. But Ethan Stanley is, I think, the guy that would stand to gain the most from a chase format. He's pretty consistently great across a full season, but what tends to happen is that in that 3-race stretch, he gets a little, he either has a bad race, has a bad connection, something goes wrong, and it falls out of his control as to whether he can move to another round of a Final Four, or like the season he won 7 races, it comes down to a final race, he finishes like 5th, and well, the champion finished 3rd. What are you going to do? But Stanley would have won that season, like the championship that season, if it was a chase format. I think he stands to gain the most as a non-champion driver in this series. He'll win a lot of races this year, and he'll certainly have an opportunity to win a championship under this format, and maybe a better one than he had in the prior format. Oh, Kevin Higgins! Oh my goodness!
I'm glad you finished that point just in time before Gavin Higgins. At that moment, and what a save right in front of Johnny Thomas as well. Johnny Thomas had to be on his toes to not just absolutely ship him into the infield grass.
Yeah, there's something to be said there for Johnny Thomas's awareness in racecraft in a Little Eagle Ford, but I'll refrain and I'll prefer to note that Gavin Higgins and Hibbs were side by side once again, and that continues to bother me because it's really hard to admit to say which one is which.
I don't know that we ran into that a lot last week.
I think Gavin Higgins was out pretty early. Yeah. And Hibbs was up front.
They saved that just for you. That was really thoughtful of them, honestly, when you think about it.
The good news is when I was on the racetrack, I couldn't tell who was who. I was about 3 wide the whole entire race, and I had a great time, but to tell you who I was racing with, I wouldn't have been able to do it. I do love our driver cards here. If you are a racer in the Elite Series, you want a driver card to be made. Tyler Fody has been the one creating those. We're utilizing them on our broadcasts here. There's Johnny Thomas. Gives you a chance to show your driver's face for the viewers at home, and then you get a little fun set of stats and statistics based on your Elite Series career. Tyler's plan is to update them after the seasons and stuff. I think it's a great idea, and it's super fun that we get to quantify some of these guys who've been racing a long time, especially like Johnny Thomas, who's a guy who's been around for many, many years.
Sometimes your face is so bad, you do this.
Oh, poor Gerald.
It's really funny that Gerald has particularly decent stats. He's a former champion in the series. Got the dog in there. Higgins got around Johnny Thomas. Blake Reynolds is stalking in behind. This is the best battle among the first group. Nate Stewart blew past Ryan Borges a couple of laps ago. Borges is starting to fall off in the 30 car up front. It is still Falkingham, half a second to Stanley, and then a second up to Nate Stewart. Garrison Hogan working to the outside of Ryan Borges for the 4th spot. And Borges is really, really fast. We've seen that in the Bat Flip Podcast 2003 series. We've also seen it in the Infinity Graphic Design ARCA series. Borges lightning quick, but right now struggling a little with the tire degradation on that 30 car. Zach, the whole field is pretty spread out. This is about that time where, I kind of said earlier, at any point, this group could just jump in and rattle off 100 green flag laps in a row, and it appears that we're on trend for that now, but we are starting to reach that point in the run where those cars were starting to really get loose.
Boy, yeah, and I think almost right as you said that, we almost saw that there from Borges. But, I think this was kind of the problem we also ran into back in the finale, right? Where just when you think we're going to break free and get a green flag run, that's when you'd see more of those cars step out. We'll just see if they do it in such a fashion that actually brings out a caution.
It tends to... We've seen that happen before, especially we saw Gavin Hibbs cross the grass. Yeah, did it again. Across the grass earlier, didn't bring out a yellow. And last season we saw it several different times in this race. And this is the time where you really want to be minding your tires, minding your tire temps, and running really consistent lap times here, because it could be really, really easy to lose the temp and wind up spun around, and it cost you the race. Which are lap leaders. Daniel Falkingham has led 47 of our 101 so far. And that number continues to climb as he continues to lead the race. How about Jared Rexing in here in sixth spot? He led the race early on. He was on that lap leader we just showed. And not only did he lead the race early, but he stayed out on old tires. He's got older tires than everybody else on this stint. Sitting here in sixth, he really hasn't fallen off like many of those guys behind him. And this car is really coming around, I think, for Jared Rexing. And after the kerfuffle coming off pit road and then getting involved in someone else's incident earlier in the event, he's been able to make a really good run of it for himself.
He certainly has, and it's been quite the recovery drive for Jared Rexing. Hopefully he'll be able to continue that trend. I am curious well, there you see, that's Ty McIntosh on pit road. I was starting to wonder if some of these guys who did stay out, if we were going to be closing in on pit stops for them. Oh, overshot it.
I think Ty was struggling near the rear of the field. I think there's going to be some guys that need to pit. I think they can't go to the end on fuel from their last stint, but my assumption is they're going to try to cut it in half, and we're about at that point. I figure some people will try to wait for the undercut a little bit. Once they're able to get going, they'll make it happen. But it looks like Ty's might be done for the night. That car might have some damage. Falkingham continues to lead, and he is extending that gap significantly now that he's entered lap traffic. Ethan Stanley has not been able to keep up with the fast times that Falkingham is putting down right now, and you can see the gap has really grown over half a second in the last 5 laps for Daniel Falkingham.
And that's where that experience, that pro level, really pays off.
Nate Stewart just got a big piece of somebody's in the outside wall on the front straightaway. I don't know who it is. Happened right in front of Nate Stewart, and it just crunched the 67 car into the fence.
Maybe Borges?
It was a lapper.
Oh, okay.
It was on the front straightaway. So coming off turn 4. Oh, it might have been it was Stanley. Ethan Stanley. P2 and P3 just wadded it up. Oh my goodness.
Stanley went in a ton.
That's not gonna. Yeah, Stanley got loose.
Yeah.
Caution's out. It might be for this. I mean, Stanley hit the wall so hard. Nate Stewart got nowhere to go, ran right into the back of him. And I wonder if that car, I mean, he might have tried to. Maybe it was a different incident here.
This is Daniel Gore and Frank Fody.
Oh, Frank.
Tag, you're it on corner exit. Frank probably expecting Daniel to run a little bit closer to the fence there, but he was not.
Yeah. And Daniel's car I've already damaged from contact with the wall, not unlike the contact we just saw from Ethan Stanley. So that car running a little bit ragged to this point, and I'm sure Daniel just trying to keep it under him there.
Is there anybody happier to see this caution than Jared Rexing?
He might be the happiest. He also gained 2 spots. Rexing right now.
because I mean I have to assume everybody's got to pit here. That's got to completely reset the strategy. He's got to be on level footing with these guys in front of him. He's got to have a shot at this thing.
Yep. He sure will, and it's we're gonna have to see if he can't find some spots on pit road. He lost 2 spots in the shuffle there. Otherwise, he'd be restarting third. Here comes Falkingham. It leads everybody down pit road.
Yeah, those cars you see staying out are lap down cars. All the leaders on pit road here.
We will watch pit exit. Let's see who can get off of pit road first. That'll probably be Daniel Falkingham if I had to wager. But his two of his biggest competitors just wrecked out of the race right before this, so man. Falkingham will get off pit road before Garrison Hogan and Gavin Hibbs. Tyler Popp, Blake Reynolds, Jared Rexing. Top 6. Why don't we find out what happened to the 10 car here while we get ready to go finish our pace laps for this yellow flag and bring Ty McIntosh to the booth. Ty, what happened to the 10 car, buddy?
Well, Scott Crump and Matthew Weeks were having their usual little ego fest, and I like to think they're both good guys and great drivers, but I knew it was going to bite me, and Scott got loose up above him, and I couldn't really do anything, and then Caleb tried to get by me, and I didn't know how low he was going to go, and I got kind of tossed up in the outside wall. So just frustrating. I don't know what I really expected, to be honest. I kind of knew where it was going to go. I was making jokes in the Discord call that something was going to happen, and that was going to be the yellow, and then we didn't get a yellow, and then Daniel got killed by Frank. So we're having a great time.
A tough one for the South Shore fellas here tonight, but hopefully Bojo can bring it home for us. Huh?
Yeah, well, he hasn't been having great luck either. And yeah, there's me getting in the back of Scott, and then seeing Caleb. I thought he was going to cut way down, and then he didn't, and then I just kind of turned into his door. So, yeah, no, I hope so. It'd be great. I feel like we've definitely last week and this week we've deserved better than we've gotten, and we have nothing to show for it. So, just a shame.
It's all good. Come back to it next week. Hopefully, things go better for our boys.
Hope so.
Next time. Have a good one.
You, buddy.
I'll squeeze in quickly before this restart. It'll be very interesting to see if race control takes a action on that, whether it be on Crump, whether it be on Ty for the slide down into Cumer. Because in either case, I mean, Crump, that would be his second of the night. For Ty, that would be his third of the season. So there could be points implications on that, even though it did bring out a caution.
Yeah. Pace car is off. Daniel Falkingham into the restart zone. Fires early. Hogan trying to go with him. Tyler Popp, the one sleeping a little bit in the front 4, burst away from the field. It's Falkingham, Hibbs, and Hogan side by side. And then Blake Reynolds up into 4th. Reynolds recovering from an earlier long pit stop. And all of a sudden, Blake Reynolds is here when it counts. Jared Rexing stuck in the middle here and down the back straightaway, bouncing off of Ryan Borges, bouncing off of Justin Wadsworth. Rexing trying to make something happen in that 71 car, but he's kind of in the sucker hole right now. Powered through turn 3, got ahead of both of those guys, and Rexing's up into the 7th spot. Oh, they're going into 1-4 wide here into turn 1.
This worked last time, but I wouldn't want to make a habit out of it.
Oh, Josh Chin just got slammed into the wall. Rexing and Chin with Wadsworth and Chin with contact. Josh Chin's car, it might be busted. He's heading to the back. Chin loses a bunch of spots.
Looks
Matthew
like
Weeks
he's back up to speed, but definitely lost a lot of ground.
Yep, Weeks trying to get around Ryan Borges here on the outside. Rexing in front of them, driving around Gavin Higgins. I think that 71 car was leading for so long. He's finally up here in the top group with equal tires. I wonder if he can't get up here and start challenging these guys for these top 5 spots. Daniel Falkingham just ran the fastest lap of the race. Oh, man. He is quick out there in that 39.
He's fast. He's got the clean air. He's got the track position. And we know he has the long run pace as well. I think if somebody's got to make a case here, they're going to have to get up there and hold him up for a little bit.
Well, I'll tell you what. If there's one guy, as Kyler Popp and Blake Reynolds go side by side and down the front straightaway, if there's one guy that is as determined as anybody, it is the guy who finished second to him last week in the Daytona 500 and the guy who's running second in this race right now, Gavin Hibbs. Hibbs thought he had it. Coming down to the stripe there, he jumped, he had the run, he jumped to the outside, and it just never quite got to where you can kind of pull back on the side draft, and Hibbs ultimately ran second. I wonder if Gavin Hibbs isn't ready to go out and get him a win here and run really hard. He's just about knocking the wall down coming off turn 4, but he is keeping Daniel Falkingham in his sights right now.
Here's a lane change penalty on Ryan Borges.
Oh, man. Borges a little bit new to Elite. That can bite even the veterans at times, but if you swap lanes on the restart, you will get dinged. Trying to see if these two are running lap times that are just about equal every time through, Falkingham and Hibbs.
At that time, it was only 500ths difference between them. Falkingham was a hair quicker. There you see the difference. I mean, they were identical 2 laps ago.
I think Hibbs is going to be quicker this lap too. He used that top lane pretty well, and he's kind of got a really nice rhythm right now. See what happens here at the line. Turn 3 was a little better to Falkingham, and it's again just like barely any difference, but there is just a little bit of advantage.
Yep.
Quick look back. I think Brian Borges is going to have to serve that penalty. He will do that this time. We'll take a look at him entering pit road as he's underneath David Hooker, but he's pitting this lap.
Drive-through.
Yes, it'll be a drive-through.
But he's got to get down. He's got to make pit road speed.
Yeah, that's tough break for Ryan Borges. Bad to worse on the penalty train. A rookie driver,
Yeah. Green flag pit road penalties on their own, even a normal circumstance, are just so crippling. And to add it on, the only reason you were going down pit road under green was to serve a penalty. I mean, that's brutal.
Yep. Jared Rexing starting to slide back. I think the 71 car has done great work today, but falling into the clutches of Matthew Weeks, Gavin Higgins, trying to get around Tyler Popp. He's not moving forward right now. He's playing defense in this 71. Looking for a top 10 run here with 15 laps to go, but no longer particularly contending for the win. Quick look at the point standings there after the duels and the Daytona 500, and you can see a lot of names awful similar to last week. Falkingham, Hibbs, Popp, Hogan, Hooker, all those guys are running right here in the top 10 once again.
And there you see the career stats here in the Belly Up Sports Cup Series as well. And there you see, of course, obviously the duels are factored into this as well, but we talk about losing the win and you're in. That doesn't mean wins aren't valuable, because they do come with those extra bonus points like you will see in the Real Life Cup Series this year. And Daniel Falkingham racks up a ton of points.
Now, Rexing's going to lose a bunch of points right here, but yeah, Daniel Falkingham, obviously with that chase format, is setting himself up. Even if he were, say, to not win this race with the stage win and a number of other excellent factors thus far, I mean, he is setting himself up for a monster regular season performance. It's only 10 or so races. I mean, you really don't have a whole lot of time. You have to go out there and acquire those points any way you can. Falkingham's done great work at that so far. But how about some of these other guys? I mean, David Tooker just went around. Jared Rexing, who got sideways. That's a guy that Tooker's very consistent. And if you're going to run a series based on consistency, I think that will highlight a David Tooker a little better than a eliminator format where you need those clutch wins.
Certainly, I think you're absolutely right. It's got to be beneficial to somebody like a David Tooker. That's his kind of racing. Just be steady, be consistent, be there at the end when it matters. There you see him in the 8th position trying to get 7th, as we see Matthew Weeks and Tyler Popp battling for the last spot in the top 5.
Weeks has, I think, the run on Tyler Popp here in turn 3. Yes, he does. Matthew Weeks up into 5th. Another guy that, he had some bad luck in the 500, got caught up in a big melee. He starts off the season on the back foot. But a consistency-based format should really benefit a Matthew Weeks who runs top 5 just about every race. And I think the only times when he doesn't are when he gets himself into trouble going for the win, maybe as out of desperation, because he feels like he can, right? I think if you get a little bit more calm and composed Matthew Weeks, you get a guy that's definitely a championship contender in this format. Right around just under 10 laps to go for Daniel Falkingham. Gavin Hibbs is trying to apply some pressure, but he is still 3/10 off, and really he's now under fire from Garrison Hogan for that second spot. The best battle on track is this one here between Tyler Popp, Gavin Higgins, and David Tooker. That is for 6th, 7th, and 8th, and they're following in behind Matthew Weeks as well. So at the moment, these guys battling hard for this spot inside the top 10. Here comes Gavin Higgins up to the outside of Tyler Popp. Oh,
that's
no!
tight.
Popp clears up in front of
Ooh.
Higgins. Almost. Then Gavin Higgins gave off the throttle just a little bit to let that 15 car get in front of him. Popp with that outside lane. Higgins to try to pull that 14 car back. Higgins to the bottom, try to slide up in front. He will be clear, but it's a short track move by a short track driver there from Gavin Higgins.
Well, you knew it was coming because he had received it the lap before. And
Garrison Hogan is spinning on the front straightaway right in front of this group. Caution flag is out. Hogan lost it in front of the field. I don't think anybody hit him, but that will shake this race up completely.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy.
Hogan pressing really hard, trying to get up to Gavin Hibbs for the second spot, and ultimately overstepped it just a little bit. Got on the binders, but got completely sideways in front of the entire field. I don't believe he got hit. But my goodness, how this can change things now. I mean, 5 laps to go. I'll tell you, Zach, I am not coming down pit road if I'm up in the top group.
No, I think the track position has been too valuable. We've seen that the fresh tires can at least hold on for a couple of laps.
And Hibbs stays out. I love it. Great call from Gavin Hibbs.
Oh, no! He spun!
Daniel Falk. No! Oh, my goodness. Daniel Falkingham.
That was one thing you couldn't do.
Oh, man.
Oh.
And as I said, the caution changes everything, because you're right. That'll be a loss of caution under yellow
for the same thing that Jared Rexing lost the lead for earlier. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Well, we'll wait on the official word, but I think you're right. This has got to be an EOL for Daniel Falkingham, I would imagine.
Yeah, they gave it to him already. Yep, he's into the back. Same thing. He and Jared Rexing both did that in this race, got the same penalty. And Gavin Hibbs will assume the race lead. Oh my goodness. So Garrison Hogan loops the 55 from third. Well, actually, let's take it back even a little bit further. Jared Rexing spins on pit exit came off pit road as the leader and spun. There's Hogan getting the penalty. Jared Rexing spun as the leader off pit exit. That turned the lead over to Daniel Falkingham. Running second and third, Nate Stewart and Ethan Stanley wrecked. And now race leader Daniel Falkingham realized too late he needed to not pit and looped the 39 car to try and conserve the track position. I mean, I don't even fake. Just stay on the track.
Well, I think our gut, which could be proven wrong here, was that staying out was going to be better than pitting here. We'll find out if we're smart or dumb on that here in a couple of laps. With that being said, yeah, I don't know if that was a fake, though. I feel like Daniel Falkingham I think that was an audible at the line of scrimmage, to use the football term. I think he was expecting way more people to follow him than did, but that's the age-old... The leader's always in such a tough spot in that situation, because if he pits, a lot of people stay out. But if he stays out, how many people, even second, third, fourth, fifth, pit thinking, well, I'm not going to beat him by staying out. I've got to pit.
Sure. But I don't know. Incredible.
Yeah.
That's why we drive the races, and we don't just issue it to the highest rating or the most experienced driver or whatever that may be, because you never know what'll happen in these events. 3 laps to go, coming to basically a natural green-white checkered. Gavin Hibbs with an excellent start. He's going to clear Matthew Weeks and Tyler Popp, and Gavin Hibbs with the race lead. What a story it could be after last week, coming so close. Justin Wadsworth just got turned. Wadsworth hard on the wall, and we will be re-racking it and doing it again. Looked like a one-car incident, but...
In Chicagoland, just
man, oh man,
gotten along. Big move to the bottom here, and there wasn't room there when he came back up top. He was almost clear, Mark Rebelis, but he was not.
Oh man! At least this time it wasn't to lose the championship. That'll
Very
tell
rare
you.
Justin Wadsworth tally.
That is a rare moment. You at home, if you've been following along with us, I can't remember the last time we called Wadsworth as at fault for something. He's very much a clean driver, and just really aggressive there, trying to go around Mark Rebelis, but nothing.
And Gavin Hibbs is going to be really frustrated with that, because he had the restart he needed to get out in front and hold on for 2 laps and win this race, and we're going to have to re-rack it again now. Was that the first attempt at green-white checkered, or was that?
No, it was not.
Natural? Okay, so
that was
natural. Okay.
Yep.
So again, I should have a script for this at this point. 3 attempts at a green-white checkered here in the Belly Up Sports Cup Series under iRacing rules. If the caution comes out on the first lap, we will re-rack and try again. Once the white flag is displayed, the yellow flag cannot be displayed. It will be a race to the checkered.
Good summary.
Both teams get possession of the ball unless the first team scores a touch. No.
That's our second football reference. We're going to have to start working in the other sports for impartiality here momentarily, as we go to extra innings here in Chicagoland. No ghost runner on second base, though.
Right. Well, you could argue that not finishing the race at lap 134 is in itself the ghost runner, but that's a different conversation.
Well, my best friends as kids were the ones that would play with me.
Oh man! So let's re-rack it. Gavin Hibbs has taken control of this race. Matthew Weeks runs second, Tyler Popp third, Gavin Higgins fourth, David Tooker fifth. Johnny Thomas, who, by the way, started last, was running sixth. Jared Rexing seventh, Ryan Gable eighth. He's been involved in several incidents tonight. Seth Rawls is ninth. He kicked off one of the wrecks tonight. And then Josh Adams is 10th. Ray Bracey 11th. Blake Reynolds 12th. Garrison Hogan is 13th. Scott Crump 14th, Norgard 15th, Pecumer 16th, Campbell, Brent Jones, Carlos Acosta, Marco Billis round out the top 20. It has been a chaotic race, but after coming so close last week, Gavin Hibbs is in control and in this position to go out and take home a race win here in the Belly Up Sports Cup Series. And I think we need him. He's got to get that same restart, like you mentioned, Zach.
Yeah, he's going to have to fire another one. Of course, that's the age-old game. Do you go early in the zone? Do you go late in the zone?
I generally try to change up my timing. You know, you just got to do something a little bit different than you did last time so that they can't predict you. So like if you went right at the beginning of the zone, wait till maybe halfway through and then go this time. Here we go. Pace car is off. Hibbs on the bottom of the racetrack. He fires off basically as soon as he gets there, and the jump is not as good as it was last time, but it is good enough. He is clear of Matthew Weeks for now. Gavin Hibbs to the race lead. Pop and Higgins side by side for third. Tooker and Thomas side by side for fifth. All behind it. 95. Higgins wiggles up the track. Acosta's around in the back. They're wrecking Borges into Wadsworth. The caution is out. Ray Bracey's around on the backstretch too. Man, gosh. Boy, it was not a good back straightaway for South Shore Racing right there.
Yeah, that's got to dip into your wallet.
Well, we were planning on, coming out of Daytona with a few fewer cars in the stable, but no, Falkingham gets a piece of Carlos Acosta here. That might kick everything off.
Yep.
And Borges gets into Acosta down and just clobbers Justin Wadsworth. Up in front of this, Ray Bracey went around. And then something happened to Daniel Gore. Oh, man, Bracey got nudged around as well.
Yeah, it looks like he was checking up, and Garrison... Oh, now he gets loose. And Hogan tags him. I believe that was Hogan.
It was Hogan. But that's it. Oh, man, there goes Danny G.
Gore into the fence.
Oh, Gore went on the apron and the transition kicked that car around. No, it didn't. Borges was in the way.
Yeah, I think he just grabbed a little bit too much brake. Tag. Because Ethan Burrell hadn't seen enough damage tonight.
Wildly interesting. Michael Goodman was angry last night, and I'll tell you, I don't often hear Michael Goodman angry. The other guy I pretty much never hear angry is Carlos Acosta. I'm interested to see what race control will. Okay.
I'm okay with that one. Because of where it's at in the corner, right? At that point on exit,
Sure,
you can't expect Falkingham can't expect a car to turn left in front of him on corner exit.
Right. There's not much he can do.
It's one thing when you're approaching the corner. When you're driving into the vortex, the disappearing window, right? But that's where the window should be opening. That's when you're throttling up.
Right.
And that's what makes it different from the one earlier.
And it makes it different from doing it on the straightaway.
Well, it sure does. But I'm sure I will be informed why I'm wrong at a later date.
Yeah, I agree with you. They can't fight all of us.
They can easily fight two of us. I don't know how good you are at math. But there's only two of us.
Well, you said there'd be no math.
I did say that.
Can't go through a Belly Up Sports Cup Series broadcast without the math joke. So let's re-rack for
math earlier, but we're gonna leave that alone.
Well, Gavin Hibbs continues to lead. Matthew Weeks runs second. Tyler Popp third. David Tooker fourth. Jared Rexing fifth. Josh Adams sixth. Gavin Higgins seventh. Johnny Thomas eighth. Ryan Gable ninth. Seth Rawls 10th. Blake Reynolds sits 11th. Garrison Hogan 12th. Then Norgard, Gerald Campbell, Scott Crump, Caleb Becumer. Top 16 or so, but it's going to be all about this restart zone for Gavin Hibbs. He did a good job in the first two. Potentially two more. Hopefully we can make it back this time.
I hope not. We've had just as many cautions in this one as the 400 miler back in December.
Gavin Hibbs to the restart zone. He fires off early. Good restart for Gavin Hibbs. 2 laps to go once again at the line. Weeks and Tooker working the top, and Johnny Thomas way on the outside trying to go around Josh Adams 3 wide. Rexing sideways on the bottom. 71 loose. He's going to lose a bunch of spots, but hold on to the car. That won't reflect how Jared Rexing ran today. He ran great. The finish isn't going to show it. Up front, Gavin Hibbs clean and green, 3 wide behind. Weeks is going to get in front of Tooker and Pop. And at the line, Hibbs leads the white flag lap, but Matthew Weeks has a run.
He has the run, but does he have the time? He's got to have a huge head of steam off this high side out of turn 2.
Gavin Hibbs second last week in the Daytona 500 here at Chicagoland, trying to pick up another win. He drives to the bottom. Weeks drives in deep behind. Up front, it is going to be Gavin Hibbs, who will come off turn 4, win the Windy City 200, and nab, I believe, his second career Belly Up Sports Cup Series win. He'll lead a charge of Pro Edge Toyotas behind him. Matthew Weeks and David Tooker. Tyler Popp will finish 4th. Josh Adams with a top 5 run. Garrison Hogan will finish 6th. Seth Rawls 7th. Blake Reynolds 8th. Johnny Thomas 9th. Ryan Gable rounds out the top 10. And you can see the excitement by the field for Gavin Hibbs knocking off a Belly Up Sports Cup Series race. It's his first one, Zach, since I believe 2024 B's Talladega.
You would be almost correct. 2024 A Talladega.
That's it. Yep. He's only got one, and it was Talladega. Yes. And he's been extremely close for a long time. Has Gavin Hibbs. He's run a lot of these races, and he's been very quick in all of them. And it just hasn't worked out, one reason or another. Finally tonight, it goes his way, and it took a sizable mistake from the dominant car of the race, Daniel Falkingham, not entering pit road and looping it and giving up the race lead, and Hibbs able to turn that into a race win.
And sometimes you look at a guy that, their only win was at a Talladega or a Daytona, and you say, sure, super speedway merchant. But you talk about some of the races he's been so close to winning. A runner-up that 2024 A season at Rockingham, a runner-up last year at the Roval. I mean, this is a guy that we've seen run well at a variety of different racetracks. And now he's got this win here at Chicagoland. There's got to be no questioning his ability on this one.
Yeah, and I don't think anybody ever has. It's pretty much always been about consistency for Gavin Hibbs, right? I mean, that's a guy that if he could put it together for an entire race, he'd win the race, right? He just hadn't been able to put it together, and finally, at long last, one came completely together for him, and this on the heels of last week's 500 when he came so close and wasn't able to get it done. But tonight, I mean, he's able to get it done. He's in victory lane. Should be an awesome celebration, and I'm certainly excited for Gavin Hibbs. We'll let the results scroll on our race results leaderboard here. I love this thing, Dave. I know I wasn't in the booth last week, but I do want to tell you, I love this graphic, and I hope everybody at home does too.
Like, isn't it?
It looks awesome, and it's a great summarization of what happened tonight.
Yeah, because otherwise I forgot Chad was even in the race. And I see his name right there. It says pole position.
40 Race for a Pole Award winner.
Yeah.
How about that? Let's start the interviews. Bring up Matthew Weeks since David Tooker isn't here yet. And Matthew, strong run for you tonight. Good points night with this chase format, but ultimately you fall one spot short. Take me through your night.
It was all right. Decent qualifying. I felt like I left some time out there. I ran a different line, and it just didn't worked out. But once the race went, we started running. I felt pretty good. Just like last season we raced here, felt decent. I felt like I could contend, and then I know we got some damage like halfway through the race, being put 4 wide, and just got squeezed, and we fixed that. And then after that, it was just pretty much drive through the field, take care of it, and try to be there. And I just wish I didn't suck at restarts.
Well, I mean that's the challenge, right? It comes down to the end of the race, and the couple of attempts at the green-white checkered there. Did you almost need a longer run to have a chance there with Gavin, or was that second place about the best you had for him tonight?
I think I needed a couple more laps so I can try to work it, because 2 laps ain't really enough for this car, especially with the dirty air and being under caution for so long, how we did right there towards the end. It really changed the track. So yeah, I needed like 5 to 10 laps maybe just to figure out the track. But by that time, the tires were like, I think, ninth on the last restart, so they probably would have been there by that time. So, oh no, we'll take it, dude. After a disappointing Daytona, man, it's good to come here and finish strong.
Matthew, obviously, new points format. We were talking about it during the race a little bit and kind of assume that you'll be one of those guys to look out for when it comes to this chase format with your consistency and typical running up at the front. Do you feel like, starting off this season with a good result like this is going to give you momentum to go and make the chase and be a championship contender throughout the year, since consistency is so important now?
Yeah, I'm glad we made the change. I'm actually glad we went. We all want the full season, but I'm glad we kind of even out with just getting the chase and having some races there all points. So that's good. I feel like it fits me a little better, because I always hated being the one race. You never know what could happen. I mean, I think Kansas, I stayed out just because I could, and I was in front of everybody the entire time. And I think Auto Club, it was just a caution fest, and we were up there the entire time. So, and lucked into it, just having a good run out of 3 and 4. So this right here, you're gonna have to be consistent. I think my weakest point is the road course, and that's the only thing I'm worried about in the playoffs, is that road course. As long as I can get a top 10 there, I feel like it's gonna play well. But it's gonna be difficult, man. We got some fast guys, with Falkenham joining, Nate Stewart. I think Blake's part time now. Fody's part time, So those 2 guys alone, and Chin, So it's pretty stacked. So it's going to be a tough championship to get, but I feel pretty good. And the more I run this car and get used to it again, because I've been kind of rusty with it, I feel like I'll get better, and we're getting back into the swing of it. So I feel like I would do pretty good with this points, and we'll be a contender for sure.
Before we let you go, Matthew, who do you have to think on this runner-up finish tonight?
Shout out, you guys in the booth, Dave behind the scenes. I love all the new graphics. I can't wait to go back and watch the Cup race like Daytona. I just love the new graphics he worked in the off season. They look so good. Chad, all the sponsors that's part of the league. The Pro Edge guys. Shout out to Gavin too. I think that's his first Cup win or second Cup win. I think he hasn't won since like Dega a couple seasons ago. So shout out to him.
Mhm.
He had a good restart there, and he got me. I couldn't do nothing, so I'm happy for him to win that. JV Designs, my buddy Justin Vandermeer, he paints all these beautiful schemes, and I've been in the same scheme for seasons now, and I don't ever want to change it. It looks so good. So shout out to him for always making these schemes and always updating them and keeping me fresh on the track. Uh, all the Pro Edge guys, we're all pretty good. I think Trey probably had a mishap half in the race. I couldn't really tell. I can only see like half the field with my graphic settings right now, and Wadsworth was pretty stout tonight. Tucker was stout. He was gone for a couple of days. Shows up, and here he is quick. So I mean, we're bringing some speed, and that's what we need. And hopefully, we just keep it chugging along, and hopefully, one of us gets a win here soon.
Gotcha. Well, congrats on P2, Matthew, and I'm certain Pro Edge will find their way into victory lane before season's out. So don't you worry about that. But yeah, have a good night, and we'll see you next week, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, man. Thank you. Yeah, have a good one.
Now let's bring up third place finisher David Tooker and talked to him about a eventful night that resulted in a really good run. So, David, you ran up front pretty much all night long, but kind of in the top 10, managed your way into third. Take me through it.
Yeah, David. I mean, oh man, I haven't been here in so long. What's going on, guys? Nice to see you guys. It's been a while. I never thought I'd be up here again, but just with the increased competition. But I'm happy to be here. But no, it was just definition of up and down. I mean, yeah, we started up front, and early on the race just became with high side freight train, just with the way the car was driving. The bottom lane kind of got overheated a lot through the early and mid part of the race, and then just trying to survive. I mean, you had to really time when you were going to pit as far as taking tires, because with the string of cautions we were having, the chances of you getting in that were just way too high. So by the time I took tires, I was back in 20th, and then just the way this car drives, it's so aero dependent now from front to rear, and I cut across the lane right at the very exit of the corner and had someone right behind me, and it packed air on my left rear, and I spun it through the grass, and then thought my race was over from there, and then just made a pit call that I didn't really think was going to work. I kind of went with a light fill on gas just to try to tighten it up so I wouldn't get so aero loose front to back around people, and it ended up working really well. And then managed to drive our way up into fifth, and then from there it was just kind of I was back in the groove again, being so long away from off season. Haven't really had much time on the sim also as well, but like I said, I'm just so happy to be back up here, and super happy for Gavin. I mean, that's so awesome. There's so much more I want to say about that, but I'll save that for further questions. But just overall, very happy with this podium. Hopefully, it's not my last.
Well, I mean, touching on that, and then I'll let David ask you about the winner. But you mentioned, we only spoke to you a couple of times last year, and we're getting an early start on that this year. Hopefully, a few more this time around. But there is the new championship format, and I think we were talking about during the broadcast how maybe this plays into your style, where you were racking up those consistent top 10 finishes last year, even if they weren't resulting in podium finishes. Are you encouraged by this format change going into this year?
I definitely think so. I mean, like you said, Zach, I think my consistency for the last 3 to 4 years has always been a top 10 to top 5 car, and even with this competition increasing, with Falkingham and Nate Stewart and same faces like Garrison Hogan and Blake Reynolds and even John Cutlip up there, a lot of guys we could name that are very talented and deserve to finish in the top 5 to top 10. So it's getting those top 10 finishes, it's no joke. You're definitely proud of them, but it's finishes like this, and then going back to Daytona. Thought I was out of that race too, and a caution bailed me out, and I finished 6th in that race, and I felt like that was a bandage on the wound there for sure. And then coming here with the top 3, I mean, you really can't ask for much better than that. And like you said, just you really got to take advantage of the consistency, and I feel like I'm pretty well-rounded driver now. I felt like for a while I was only good on the road courses, but just with the increase of competition, you got to step up to it, and we're proving that every single time. A little bit of last season, I kind of missed a few races last year that kind of hindered me in points, but hopefully this year I'll be able to go full swing again, and looking forward to just racing again. I miss being on the sim with everyone and enjoying these races, even with cautions after cautions. You're still hanging out with your friends, you're still having a good time, and it's people who I've been racing with for almost 10 years now. Kind of crazy to think about it, but regardless, yeah, I mean, consistency is going to be so huge for this season, and hopefully we keep this format moving forward, and just hope I can keep my consistency up as well.
And David, I mean, I don't really have more question than that, but I will toss it to you to talk about your buddy Gavin Hibbs and what a win for him, means for kind of your group, because I know he's been working hard on this thing for a while, and I guess then the question becomes, when are you getting back in victory lane? Because I feel like if he's able to do it, I think you can get back in as well. You keep kind of doubting yourself, but I'd be more surprised if you didn't put one together here at some point.
Yeah, I mean, it's I definitely I feel like I give myself not enough credit as far as that. I mean, I'm definitely more of a humble driver, and I try to let my driving do the talking. But I've had the chances of putting wins together, like Nashville last year. I mean, we were on the front row for the past 4 or 5 restarts, and it was just getting the timing right. And then the last one, I didn't get it right, and I threw it away. And I was thinking about that race for a long time. If that's my if ever going to be my last chance. But I think we got some good tracks coming up. I know I'm very good at the short tracks. I've definitely improved on the mile and a halves, and then even our road courses. I mean, our talent is stepping up there even more and more every single year. But I think that encourages me to also put in the time in for those a lot more than I do, and I'm just looking forward to it. I mean, I love the competition that we have here, and it's getting better and better every year. I'm hoping I can put together I know I'm good at Dover, and hopefully Bristol's on the schedule, and I know I got road courses to look forward to, but those are definitely probably some of my chances, and I just got to put myself in the right place at the right time. But back to what we were saying about Gavin, I mean, talk about a guy that's deserved this for a long time. I mean, he mentioned it to me earlier. It's been 2 years since he won a race, and it was Dega, unfortunately, ranked my teammate Ethan Burrell for that one. But I mean, we live and we learn, and he's learned a lot. I mean, he's improved so much as a driver, and just an awesome person to be around. I love hanging out with Gavin. He's been a part of our group now for the past couple years, hanging out with us every day, and it's super cool. I mean, as much as I want to win, there's honestly probably not a single person I would pick other than him, and I know he needs it for just everything that he's been through, and how life hits you, and sometimes it's little things like this. It may not be big to other people, but this is huge to him, and I'm so happy for him. He definitely deserves it, and I couldn't be more happier to call him a friend for sure. um, but just to close it off, I just want to thank all of our sponsors, Belly Up Sports, being on board with us for the past 3 or 4 years now, Blue Egg Marketing, Lucas Oil Racing School coming on board with our Seniorson, um, Worldwide Technology Raceway, Ray Bracey with his Bojo YouTube channel over there. If you're looking for some great iRacing content, especially about Elite Racing Network and Elite Racing League, sorry, that's a great place to watch. He makes really funny and just great videos. Den Decor Depot, 40 Racewear, Tom Bolin over at Ford. I mean, there's so many people to thank, and especially you guys up in the booth. You guys do such an amazing job at putting these broadcasts together, and look forward to watching every single one, and definitely looking forward to watching these for the rest of the year. So thank you guys for what you do up here. I really appreciate it.
All right. Well, you got all the shout outs in and all that, so we'll let you go. Congratulations on this runner up, and we'll see you next week at Dover.
All righty. Thank you, boys.
David Tooker with the third place finish. Now let's grab our race winner, bring him up here, and talk to Gavin Hibbs. And Gavin, it's been a couple years, man, but congratulations. You are finally back in victory lane in the Belly Up Sports Cup Series. Tell us how it feels, buddy.
I'm sorry, but holy hell, David, it's so amazing. I mean, yeah, it's been so long, and I was joking with Ethan. I was like, I didn't have to wreck anybody for it this time, so but man, my heart was running those last 25, 30 laps, because that the long run we had. I mean, I was feeling pretty good. I was like, maybe top 5 is in the cards if this goes green, and was fortunate to have some front runners wreck out in front of us, and then the nearest challengers behind us have some issues. But I'll tell you what, the most nerve-wracking thing I've ever had to deal with was, do I pit or do I don't? That last. But I'm just so happy I made the right choice, and to hold off guys like Zeus or Weeks and David Tooker. I mean, I hang out with those guys so much recently, and I respect a lot of those guys, and I just can't believe it, David.
Man, this is incredible. The emotion we're getting out of you here. I mean, you talked about those last few restarts and those last 25 laps. What was going through your mind, especially on those couple of green-white checkered attempts at the end? What were the keys for you as you were approaching those restarts?
Oh, Zach, I can't explain it. It's probably the most nervous I've been since running Elite for almost running 4 years now. It was easily the most nerve-wracking, and give a shout out to guys like Austin Sally, who runs ARCA for Pro Edge, and most of those Pro Edge and Field Up guys, just telling me, you got this, just stay calm, and do your thing. And I all the credit for those last couple of restarts goes to those guys, just keeping me in check and bringing me down to earth and just calming me down. So that's a big shout out to them.
And Gavin, I mean, what an incredible start to the season as well. I believe you'll be the points leader. Maybe once the drop week hits for some, but you have such a good start with a runner up last week and then a win this week. I mean, you're set up extremely well for success in this chase format. And what do you think going forward is your outcome if you can keep this kind of momentum going and keep building on these really strong runs and see if you can't contend for the Chase Championship here?
Yeah, I honestly thought last week was probably my best chance, but with how these first 2 weeks have gone, and and also having some of these pro guys come in, I knew I had to step up my game, and and that's gonna be the thing heading for these next couple of months is just got to step up my game, have luck on my side, and run as clean of a race as I did tonight. Apart from the going coming up with a lawn care service there around midpoints, but we just got to stay clean throughout the rest of the season, and hopefully we have the speed that we've had these first 2 weeks. Hopefully come chase time, we have that speed, and who knows? Who knows? It could maybe the year of the 95, but that's too far out to tell.
Before we let you go, Gavin, who do you have to thank on this win tonight?
First I'm gonna shout out, dedicate this to Paul. I know he had a terrible accident, so I told him I'd dedicate my win to him. But yeah, everybody who's got me here, Field Up Racing, Pro Edge Racing, Racecraft Academy, Strictly Stock Motorsports, those guys I've known for 6 years or 7 years now. Not pointing the joke out, but those guys, shout out to those guys. They've kept me racing for so long. And then this actual sponsors, Numbers by Joe, Hibbs Design, and then Next Level Racing, use code Racecraft at checkout for 5 to 10%. I need to look back at that, but I think that's all who I've shout out.
That's awesome, Gavin. And it's been, like we said, it's been a long time, and it's really exciting to see somebody with a lot of emotion in victory lane. So a lot of times we get the same guy here week in and week out. So it's exciting that somebody fresh is in victory lane and has a real chance at contending with some of these, like you said, some of these pro guys and strong drivers for the rest of the season. So we're looking forward to it, and congrats on the win. Send the shot video, and we'll catch you next week.
Yeah, I have to go through what I have, but it might be a shotgun video, but I think that's just as better, or that's even better. So lastly, thank you guys for putting the broadcast on. I can't wait to watch it back later.
Sounds good. Well, congrats, Gavin, and we'll catch you next week.
Yeah, thank you.
That was the Windy City 200, fellas, and we've already run pretty long, so I'll just make it short and sweet. Tune in same time next week. Wait, what we got?
I do want to make a note. Looking at the penalty report, it does appear a post-race EOL has been issued to the 83 of Johnny Thomas, who had crossed the line 9th. Lane change on the final restart.
So I'm not sure where that would put him, but not ninth is going to be the finishing result for Johnny Thomas.
It
Like
wouldn't
it'll
matter.
put him 27th.
It wouldn't matter except for he's not running for points. So
Yeah.
Sure.
oh well.
Moves everybody from 9th to 27th.
He feels like he finished ninth. That's
Hey.
what matters.
You say that, I will jump in long enough to make one more. I started the night with an editorial comment. I'll end it with an editorial comment. People who say winning you're in is this huge important thing. We don't have it this year. You heard the emotion from Gavin Hibbs. I know this is just pixel cars. I know this isn't real. That win was real and it mattered to him. And that's why I'm a huge fan of this championship format, both with our league and with NASCAR for 2026.
Yep. Wins matter and good races matter. And this was a pretty good race. Hopefully next week it's a little cleaner, but I'll enjoy it nonetheless. Tune in same time next week and we'll be back then. So don't go anywhere. It'll be Dover next week. Should be a grand time for all of us at the Elite Racing Network. That was the Windy City 200 and we'll see you next week.